No one can say with certainty who created Freemasonry. Even the Freemasons themselves admit that their beginnings are hidden in legend. Most historians believe it began in the Middle Ages among the stonemasons who built Europe's great cathedrals and castles. These builders formed guilds, secret groups that protected their skills, their symbols, and their knowledge of mathematics and geometry. Only those who were accepted into the lodge could learn the secrets of the craft. But as the centuries passed, something changed. By the 1600s, lodges were admitting men who were not stonemasons at all. Gentlemen, nobles, philosophers, scientists, people who wanted to be part of a society of secrets. These speculative Masons transformed the guild into something much larger, a fraternity of ideas, symbols, and rituals. As for who truly created it, some say it was these medieval builders. Others claim the roots go back much further, to the Knights Templar, the mysterious warrior monks who were accused of worshiping forbidden gods and guarding treasures from Solomon's temple. Still others whisper of connections to ancient Egypt, to secret schools of wisdom that carried hidden knowledge across millennia. What began as a craft of builders became a brotherhood of secrets, not only shaping stone, but shaping history itself. Every Freemason, before he is accepted into the brotherhood, must swear an oath. This oath is not like any ordinary promise. It is a vow of absolute secrecy, a pledge that what happens inside the lodge will never be revealed to the outside world. In the old rituals, the words were terrifying. An initiate swore that if he betrayed the secrets of the craft, his throat would be cut, his heart torn out, and his body left for the beasts of the field. Whether symbolic or real, the warning was clear. Silence was life. Betrayal meant death. The candidate is blindfolded, led into the lodge, and made to kneel before the master. With his hand on a sacred book, he swears loyalty to the brotherhood, to its symbols, and to its mysteries. Only then is he accepted as an apprentice Mason. But this silence is not just about rituals, it is also about protection. Masons believe that secrecy itself creates power, that what is hidden becomes more valuable. It binds the members together and separates them from the rest of the world. For centuries, this oath has been repeated in countless lodges by kings and commoners alike. And it is this very silence that has fueled suspicion. What knowledge is so dangerous that it must be guarded with blood oaths? What secrets are worth dying for?
At the heart of Freemasonry lies a ladder of secrets, the degrees. Every Mason begins at the bottom as an entered apprentice. From there, he climbs step by step, fellow craft, then Master Mason. These are the first 3 degrees, known as the Blue Lodge, and they are the foundation of the Brotherhood. But beyond these first steps, there are higher levels. In some branches, especially the Scottish Rite, the degrees extend all the way to the 33rd. Each degree is said to hold new lessons, symbols, and hidden knowledge. The lower degrees teach morality, charity, and the symbolic tools of the Mason, the square, the compass, the trowel. But as one rises, the rituals grow stranger, involving oaths before coffins, skulls, and secret symbols of death and rebirth. The 33rd degree is the most mysterious of all. Few reach it, and those who do are said to hold the innermost secrets of the craft. Some claim it reveals the true origins of humanity. Others say it grants hidden knowledge of life after death. Conspiracy theorists whisper that the 33rd degree connects Masons to world politics, to hidden societies, even to powers beyond this world. Whether symbolic or real, the degrees serve one purpose – to create a journey of transformation. Each step is a test, each ritual a passage, and only those who climb the full ladder of Masonry can hope to glimpse the highest truth the order claims to guard.
One of the deepest mysteries of Freemasonry is its connection to Solomon's Temple. In their rituals, Masons constantly speak of it, the Great Temple in Jerusalem, built almost 3,000 years ago and said to house the Ark of the Covenant. According to Masonic legend, their order preserves the ancient secrets of the temple's builders. They speak of Hiram Abiff, the master architect of Solomon's Temple, who, according to their story, was murdered for refusing to reveal the hidden knowledge of his craft. Every new Mason symbolically reenacts this story, experiencing death, then rebirth, just as Hiram did. Some believe these temple secrets were not just about architecture, but about sacred geometry, the mathematics said to reflect the order of the universe itself. Others claim the secrets were spiritual, knowledge of divine power, energy, and perhaps even direct contact with God. When the temple was destroyed, its mysteries were thought to be lost, but Masons claim to guard fragments of this wisdom, passed down through generations, hidden in symbols and rituals. Conspiracy theorists go further. They suggest the Ark of the Covenant, containing the 10 Commandments and unimaginable power, was hidden by temple priests, and that the Masons, through their supposed link to the Knights Templar, may have inherited knowledge of its location. Is Freemasonry truly the heir of Solomon's Temple, or is it a symbolic story to give their rituals a sacred past? Whatever the truth, this temple remains the spiritual heart of the Masonic mystery. Perhaps the most famous Masonic symbol of all is the all-seeing eye, the eye within a triangle, often shining with rays of light. Most people know it from the back of the US $1 bill, floating above a pyramid. But what does it mean? To the Freemasons, the all-seeing eye represents the great architect of the universe, a divine force that sees everything, guiding creation. It is a reminder that every action, no matter how small, is observed. Nothing is hidden from the higher power. But outside the lodge, the symbol has taken on a darker meaning. To many, it has become the ultimate sign of surveillance and control. Conspiracy theorists see it as proof of a hidden elite watching humanity, manipulating events from the shadows. Its appearance on the American dollar in 1935 only added fuel to suspicion. Was it a coincidence that Masonic symbols, the eye, the unfinished pyramid, the Latin motto Novus Ordo Seclorum, meaning a new order of the ages, were placed on the nation's currency? Or was it a declaration that the United States itself was built under Masonic influence? Even older civilizations used the eye symbol, from the Eye of Horus in Egypt to sacred icons in Asia. Some believe the Masons inherited this ancient emblem and kept it alive as part of their secret knowledge. To believers, the all-seeing eye is a symbol of divine truth. To skeptics, it is a warning that someone is always watching. To this day, it remains one of the most powerful and unsettling images in the world. One of the strangest claims about Freemasonry is that their symbols are hidden in the very buildings and cities we live in. To them, architecture is more than stone and mortar. It is a code, a message carved into the world itself. Take Washington, D.C. The city was designed in the late 1700s, and many of its planners were Freemasons. Look closely at its streets, and you will find geometric patterns, pentagrams, squares, and triangles pointing toward the Capitol and the White House. The entire city is said to be a Masonic blueprint.
In Paris, Masonic symbols are woven into the layout of avenues leading to the Arc de Triomphe. In London, landmarks align with sacred geometry that echoes Masonic principles. Even cathedrals across Europe, from Notre Dame to Cologne, are filled with carvings, numbers, and alignments that carry Masonic meaning. But it doesn't stop with old buildings. The cornerstone of the United States Capitol was laid in 1793 in a full Masonic ritual by George Washington himself, dressed in his Masonic apron. The same happened with the Statue of Liberty. To this day, Masons still perform cornerstone ceremonies for public buildings, embedding their mark into history. Critics say this is only coincidence, that architecture always follows geometry. But believers argue it is proof that Freemasonry hides in plain sight, shaping the world through monuments and cities that silently carry their message. If true, then we are not just walking through streets and buildings. We are walking through a giant Masonic code.
One reason Freemasonry has attracted so much suspicion is the extraordinary number of powerful men who were part of it. Across history, kings, presidents, generals, and artists have worn the apron of a Mason. In the United States, at least 13 presidents were Freemasons. George Washington was the most famous, but he was not alone. Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt, Harry Truman, and even Lyndon B. Johnson all belonged to the Brotherhood. Washington himself laid the cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol in a Masonic ceremony, proving the society's influence in the very birth of the nation. In Europe, great thinkers like Voltaire and Goethe joined the lodges, while revolutionaries such as Simón Bolívar, the liberator of South America, were also members. Winston Churchill wore the Masonic emblem, as did many military leaders during both World Wars. Even in the arts, the list is astonishing. Mozart was a Freemason, and his opera, The Magic Flute, is filled with Masonic symbolism. Mark Twain, Rudyard Kipling, and Oscar Wilde all joined the craft. This network of influence was not just about shared beliefs. In the shadows, membership meant loyalty. Masons could recognize one another with secret handshakes and signals, offering trust and protection in politics, business, and war. Critics argue that this invisible chain of power created an elite brotherhood, quietly steering history. Were revolutions, governments, and even wars shaped not only by politics, but by the hidden hands of the lodge? That is the question that has haunted Freemasonry for centuries.
What happens inside a Masonic lodge has long been a source of fascination and fear. Outsiders are never allowed in. Windows are often covered, and those who enter must first swear the oath of silence. But what exactly takes place behind those closed doors? At the heart of Masonry are its rituals. An initiation begins with the candidate blindfolded, his chest exposed, and a rope, called a cable tow, placed around him. He is led through the lodge, stopped at the altar, and made to swear loyalty on a sacred book. Only then does he become an apprentice. As Masons move higher in rank, the ceremonies grow more symbolic. Some involve coffins, skulls, and symbols of death and resurrection. The initiate symbolically dies as a man of ignorance and is reborn as a man of knowledge. Others describe strange dramas, reenacting the murder of Hiram Abiff, the legendary architect of Solomon's Temple. The rituals also include passwords, signs, and secret handshakes, ways for Masons to recognize one another without speaking. These codes are passed from generation to generation, unchanged for centuries. To the members, these rituals are lessons about morality, self-improvement, and the search for light.
But to outsiders, they appear mysterious and even sinister. Are these just symbolic plays meant to teach values, or do they hide something deeper, an ancient tradition of secret knowledge carried through the ages? Whatever the truth, the rituals of Freemasonry remain one of the most closely guarded aspects of the Brotherhood, fueling endless speculation about what really happens in the lodge.
Freemasonry is built on symbols, and at its core lies one great obsession: numbers and geometry. To the Mason, shapes are not just shapes, and numbers are not just math. They are keys to hidden truths. The triangle, the circle, the square, each carries spiritual meaning. The lodge itself is arranged as a sacred space modeled on geometric principles said to reflect the very structure of the universe. Certain numbers appear again and again. The number 3, representing wisdom, strength, and beauty. The number 7, symbolizing completion and perfection. The number 13, feared by many but honored in Masonic symbolism. And above all, the number 33. The 33 degrees of Scottish Rite Masonry are said to mirror the steps of spiritual ascent, a journey toward enlightenment. Conspiracy theorists claim that the number 33 shows up in world events, in coordinates of secret locations, and even in the design of nations influenced by Masons. Sacred geometry also connects the Brotherhood to ancient builders. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the Parthenon in Greece, the Gothic cathedrals of Europe, all are said to be designed with mathematical ratios that the Masons inherited and preserved. To outsiders, these are coincidences, but to Freemasons, numbers and geometry are the language of God, hidden in plain sight. The universe itself, they believe, was built by the great architect according to this code, and those who understand it hold the key to creation.
Among all the symbols of Freemasonry, none is more famous than the square and compass. You've seen it carved into stone, engraved on rings, and displayed on Masonic lodges around the world. But what do these tools really mean? The square is the tool that measures right angles. For the Mason, it represents morality, the duty to act fairly, honestly, and with integrity. It is a reminder to square one's actions with truth and justice. The compass is the tool that draws perfect circles. It symbolizes boundaries, the ability to control one's desires, to live with balance, and to keep passions within limits. Together, the square and compass form the guiding principles of a Mason's life: morality and self-control. But there is a third symbol often placed between them: the letter G. Its meaning is debated even among Masons themselves. Some say it stands for geometry, the sacred science that reveals the order of the universe. Others say it represents God, the great architect of the universe. To the outsider, these are only tools, but to the Freemason, they are sacred emblems, keys to wisdom that stretch back to the builders of cathedrals, the temples of Solomon, and perhaps even more ancient mysteries. Placed together, the compass and square are more than symbols of building. They are symbols of shaping life, morality, and even the destiny of mankind.
Few names spark more mystery than the Illuminati. And for centuries, people have wondered, are the Freemasons and the Illuminati one and the same? The Illuminati was a short-lived secret society founded in 1776 in Bavaria by Adam Weishaupt. Its goal was to spread Enlightenment ideas, challenge monarchies, and create a new world based on reason and freedom. But it was outlawed only a decade later. Officially, it ceased to exist. Yet whispers claim it survived, hidden inside Masonic lodges. After all, both groups valued secrecy, symbols, and initiation rituals. Both attracted intellectuals, nobles, and revolutionaries, and both were accused of trying to reshape society from the shadows. Some conspiracy theories go further. They claim the Illuminati merged with Freemasonry, using the lodge as a cover to continue their mission. The eye inside the triangle, the obsession with order, even the phrase New World Order, all are seen as proof that the two groups are connected. Freemasons, of course, deny this. They insist that Masonry is about morality and charity, not global domination. But the similarities are hard to ignore, and history shows that at least some members of the Illuminati were indeed recruited from Masonic lodges. So are the Illuminati and the Freemasons two separate societies that look alike? Or are they branches of the same hidden order, quietly shaping the world for centuries? The answer remains buried in secrecy, but the suspicion refuses to die.
Freemasonry has always presented itself as a brotherhood, a society of men bound by secrets. For centuries, women were forbidden to enter the lodge. Yet history tells us that the story is not so simple. As early as the 1700s, there were whispers of women's lodges, sometimes called adoptive masonry. In France, secret groups of noblewomen performed rituals similar to the Masons, complete with symbols, aprons, and oaths. Some of Europe's queens and duchesses were rumored to take part. In modern times, organizations like the Order of the Eastern Star emerged, a branch of Freemasonry that includes both men and women. Though not fully equal to the traditional lodge, it gave women access to parts of the Masonic world. But beyond the official records, legends suggest something deeper, that women were always part of the hidden mysteries. Some claim that female initiates existed in secret, guardians of esoteric knowledge passed down quietly through generations. Others believe that women's exclusion was only symbolic, hiding the fact that behind the scenes, some of the most influential women in history worked alongside Masons to shape events. Today, female and mixed lodges exist openly in many countries, though mainstream Masonry often denies their legitimacy. Still, the question remains, if Freemasonry guards the secrets of humanity, why should half of humanity be left out? Perhaps the true role of women in Freemasonry is another secret, one the Brotherhood has chosen never to reveal.
One of the darkest shadows over Freemasonry is the accusation that its members worshipped the devil. From the Middle Ages to modern times, critics have linked the lodge to black magic, pagan gods, and even Lucifer himself. In the 19th century, a Masonic leader named Albert Pike became the center of controversy. Pike wrote extensively about Masonic philosophy, and some claimed he secretly admitted that the highest degrees of Masonry were dedicated to Lucifer, the light-bringer. Whether these writings were real or forgeries remains debated to this day. Religious authorities, especially the Catholic Church, condemned the Masons for centuries. Popes declared that the rituals of Freemasonry were incompatible with Christianity, accusing them of serving a false god in place of the true one. The secrecy of the lodge only fueled suspicion. Inside the lodge, symbols like the blazing star, the skull, and the ritual of death and rebirth have been interpreted by outsiders as occult practices. To Masons, these are lessons about morality and the human journey, but to critics, they are signs of hidden darkness. Even today, conspiracy theorists insist that behind closed doors, Masons practice rituals not of light, but of shadow. They connect the Brotherhood to ancient pagan deities, alchemy, and forbidden rites.
Whether these claims are truth or slander, they remain one of the greatest sources of fear surrounding the Freemasons. Are they seekers of divine wisdom or servants of something far more sinister?
Freemasons have always called themselves builders, not just of stone, but of society itself. And throughout history, they have left their mark in stone and architecture. Some of the world's most famous buildings are said to hide Masonic symbols in plain sight. Take Washington, D.C., for example. The U.S. Capitol, the Washington Monument, even the layout of the city's streets, all are said to follow Masonic geometry. The cornerstone of the Capitol was laid in 1793 during a full Masonic ceremony, with George Washington himself wearing his Masonic apron. Then there's the Cathedral of Notre Dame in Paris, with carvings of compasses, squares, and mysterious figures hidden among its Gothic designs. Many believe the medieval stonemasons who built it were the spiritual ancestors of the Freemasons we know today. Even the Great Seal of the United States, with its unfinished pyramid and the all-seeing eye, is tied to Masonic influence. Was this just coincidence, or a hidden signature of the Brotherhood shaping a new nation?
From the shadows of history, whispers tell of Freemasons guiding kings, presidents, and revolutions. Could a secret brotherhood truly have shaped the governments of the world? In the American Revolution, many of the founding fathers, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere, were Freemasons. The Declaration of Independence itself was signed by numerous members of the craft. Was America founded as a Masonic experiment, a new world built on their ideals? Across the ocean, in France, Masons were also present during the French Revolution. Lodges became meeting places for thinkers, rebels, and reformers. The cry for liberty, equality, and fraternity echoed Masonic principles. Even in modern times, leaders from Winston Churchill to Franklin D. Roosevelt, from monarchs to ministers, have worn the square and compass. In some nations, nearly entire cabinets were composed of Masons. Critics argue that this hidden network acts like a shadow government, brothers helping brothers, pulling strings in secret beyond the reach of the people. To them, Masonry is not just a fraternity, but a system of power. Freemasons deny this, claiming they are only bound by friendship and charity. Yet, history shows that in key moments, the hand of Masonry was always near. Is it coincidence that so many world leaders wore the apron of the Mason? Or is it proof that behind the thrones and parliaments, the real architects of power sit inside the lodge? One of the most haunting symbols linked to Freemasonry is the all-seeing eye, an eye enclosed in a triangle, often surrounded by rays of light. To the initiated, it represents the eye of God, watching over humanity. But to outsiders, it has become the mark of secret control. You can find this symbol everywhere, on the US $1 bill, hovering above the unfinished pyramid, in ancient temples where similar eyes appear carved in stone, even in popular culture where it is tied to conspiracies of shadowy elites. For Masons, the all-seeing eye is a reminder that nothing is hidden from the great architect of the universe. Every action, every thought is seen and judged. It is meant to inspire morality, honesty, and truth. But many believe the symbol carries a darker meaning. They claim it reveals the presence of a hidden order, watching, guiding, and even controlling the destiny of nations. Some see it as the emblem of the Illuminati, a secret society within Freemasonry, pulling the strings of world events. The truth may never be known, but one thing is certain:
The all-seeing eye has become one of the most powerful symbols of mystery in history. Whether it stands for divine wisdom or secret domination, it reminds us that someone, somewhere, is always watching.
Legends whisper that the Freemasons are not only keepers of knowledge, but also guardians of unimaginable treasures. From ancient relics to lost scrolls, their secrets may lie hidden beneath cathedrals, monuments, and even in underground vaults. Some stories claim that the Knights Templar, the warrior monks of the Crusades, carried with them holy relics when their order was destroyed. The Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, even lost books of Solomon. When the Templars vanished, their secrets were said to live on through Freemasonry. In Scotland, Rosslyn Chapel is filled with carvings of strange symbols, including plants from the New World carved long before Columbus set sail. Many believe the chapel is a Masonic treasure map, a vault of hidden knowledge buried beneath its stone floor. In America, legends tell of Masonic treasure buried under Oak Island in Nova Scotia, a mysterious pit that has lured treasure hunters for centuries. Every discovery of symbols, tools, and coded markings only deepens the mystery. Whether these stories are truth or myth, one thing is clear. Freemasonry has always surrounded itself with the aura of hidden wealth, not just of gold and jewels, but of sacred wisdom. If these treasures exist, they could rewrite history. And if they do not, the very belief in them shows the immense power of the Masonic myth, a power strong enough to keep humanity searching for centuries.
For centuries, the Freemasons have stood at the crossroads of history, half in the light, half in the shadows. They have been called builders, philosophers, conspirators, and kings. They are accused of shaping nations, guarding secrets, and perhaps even guiding the destiny of humanity itself. Yet at their heart, Freemasons describe themselves simply as men seeking light, searching for wisdom, morality, and truth. Their lodges are filled with symbols of stone and compass, but behind them lies a far greater mystery. Why does this brotherhood still endure after so many centuries? Perhaps the answer is power, the power of secrecy, the power of unity, and the power of myth. For whether the stories are true or not, the aura of Freemasonry makes it one of the most fascinating societies in history. Presidents and peasants, artists and generals, saints and sinners, all have knelt at the Masonic altar. Some used its secrets for good, others perhaps for darker purposes, but all became part of the same unbroken chain. And so the questions remain. Are the Freemasons guardians of ancient wisdom, or architects of hidden control? Do they serve the great architect of the universe, or their own ambitions? The truth may never be fully revealed. But one thing is certain: the legacy of Freemasonry is not just written in books or carved in stone. It lives on in mystery. And perhaps that is the greatest secret of all.
But the greatest question remains: why does Freemasonry exist? What is its true purpose? On the surface, the answer seems simple. Freemasons say their mission is to make good men better. They describe themselves as a brotherhood devoted to morality, self-improvement, and charity. Lodges support hospitals, schools, and communities. For the average Mason, it is a fraternity, a place of learning, tradition, and friendship. But history shows another layer. Freemasonry was born from stonemason guilds in medieval Europe. Over time, it became a secret society where thinkers, nobles, and revolutionaries could meet safely away from the eyes of kings and priests. It was in these lodges that ideas of freedom, equality, and democracy were whispered long before they reshaped the world. Take the American Revolution. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and many of the founding fathers were Masons. Washington even swore his presidential oath on a Masonic Bible. Was America founded on Masonic ideals? Many believe so. In France, lodges buzzed with revolutionary energy. Philosophers and nobles gathered under the square and compass, planting the seeds of liberty, equality, and fraternity, the very slogan of the revolution. But then comes the most controversial layer. Conspiracies claim that Freemasonry's true purpose is not just brotherhood or political freedom, but the preservation of ancient secrets, knowledge from the Knights Templar, symbols hidden in cathedrals, sacred geometry encoded in Washington, D.C. and Roslyn Chapel. Mozart, himself a Freemason, filled his opera The Magic Flute with Masonic codes. Shortly after, he mysteriously died at only 35. Some whisper it was punishment for revealing too much. And when astronaut Buzz Aldrin set foot on the moon, he carried with him not just the American flag, but a Masonic banner. Did the Brotherhood extend its reach from Earth to the stars? So what is the purpose of the Masons? Maybe it is all three: to improve men and practice charity, to protect each other and influence the course of nations, to guard an ancient wisdom too powerful, too dangerous to be revealed to the unprepared. The truth may be different for each degree, each lodge, each brother. But one thing is certain: Freemasonry thrives because of mystery. For every answer given, 100 questions remain. And perhaps that is the greatest secret of all, that the mystery itself is the power.
Even after centuries of speculation, Freemasonry remains one of the greatest enigmas in human history. For every answer, 10 new questions appear. What secrets lie in the rituals that only the highest degrees have seen? Is there truly a final revelation? Knowledge so powerful that only a chosen few are allowed to receive it? Did Freemasons inherit the lost treasures of the Knights Templar, the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, or scrolls from Solomon's Temple? Are these relics still hidden beneath Roslyn Chapel, Oak Island, or in vaults guarded by the Brotherhood? Is the all-seeing eye a symbol of divine wisdom or proof of an invisible hand guiding nations? Was America itself designed as a Masonic experiment, a new world under their principles? And what of the accusations of darkness? Were men like Mozart silenced for revealing too much? Do the symbols carved into our monuments and printed on our money tell a story we are not meant to understand? Perhaps the greatest mystery is this: if Freemasonry is only a fraternity of charity and brotherhood, why does the world fear it so much? Why has it inspired so many legends, accusations, and conspiracies? The truth may never be revealed, but the questions remain, hanging in the shadows, hidden in symbols, whispered in the corridors of power. Freemasonry is more than history. It is a riddle alive even today. And perhaps the greatest mystery of all is not what the Freemasons are hiding from us, but why they want us to keep searching.
For all the rituals and symbols, the true power of Freemasonry has always been in its actions. Behind closed doors, far from the public eye, Masons gathered, and the world outside began to change. In 1717, the first Grand Lodge was founded in London. Almost immediately, lodges became centers for debate, free thought, and political planning. Monarchs and churches feared them because here men spoke of liberty, equality, and a new kind of society. In America, those whispers turned into revolution. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Paul Revere, all Masons, meeting in lodges while planning the birth of a new nation. Even the Boston Tea Party was organized in the Green Dragon Tavern, known at the time as a Masonic headquarters. In France, the same pattern repeated. Lodges became secret clubs where nobles and philosophers plotted change. Soon after, the French Revolution erupted, shaking thrones and altars alike. But it was not only politics. In music, Mozart and other composers encoded Masonic ideas into their art. In science, Masonic thinkers pushed the boundaries of knowledge, believing they were unlocking the secrets of the great architect's creation. In exploration, Masons carried their symbols across oceans. Some even say onto the surface of the moon. To their supporters, they were builders of freedom, progress, and enlightenment. To their enemies, they were conspirators, rebels, and heretics, undermining the old order. So what were the Freemasons really doing? Perhaps both. They were shaping revolutions, guiding nations, inspiring art and science, all while guarding their own mysteries. Working in the light of progress, yet always cloaked in shadow. And maybe that is their greatest achievement, to move history forward while leaving behind only whispers of their hand in it.